Live and direct, Fabian Perspectv. Friendly fire on ALLBALL TV. We getting right into this one. Same Atari shirt, no games. Your man Shannon Sharpe, Stephen A. Smith, bunch of chatty patties. What does that make me? A chatty patty eavesdropper. But basically, your man Shannon Sharpe is over here whining again about Skip Bayless disrespecting him and his manhood and his career and whatever the hell else.
Who's we? Who's we? Who's we, Shannon?
Me, Skip, and Charlie Dixon.
Okay.
We had a conversation, and I think I conveyed my point fairly well. No matter how much longer I was on the show, how much longer I was going to be at FS1, that level of disrespect wouldn't be tolerated.
He made sure to make that point. And how receptive they were. I know I've known Charlie for years. Charlie's a good man. Obviously, I've known Skip for a long time. How was that received when you said that?
I said my piece and I got up and walked out. I don't really think there was anything else to discuss or have a discussion. It had already been said. I just wanted to say my piece. Mm-hmm. And I moved on. Right. I have, it's like, I really don't have, I've never had a whole lot of relationship with the bosses because I really never really saw them. Mm-hmm. So it's not like, we're going out to lunch or we're going out to dinner or things like that. That wasn't the case. I just want to go to work. I just want to go to work, do my job, come home, be the best person on personality I can be, mm-hmm. be the best person I can be in my home, in the community. That's all I want to do. Right. That's it. All this other stuff that potentially has to come along with it, I can do without that, Stephen A. I can honestly do without that.
This, and I hear where you're coming from, but just 3 weeks later, I believe it was January 4th, 2023, mm-hmm. a couple of days earlier, Demar Hamlin had collapsed on the football field. Mm-hmm. The next day on FS1, you were not there. You were not in attendance for that show. And mm-hmm. then January 4th, you showed up, and here is you expressing your frustration in the aftermath of the Damar Hamlin situation when you were on the set with Skip Bayless. Take a look at this.
Skip tweeted something, and although I disagree with the tweet, and hopefully Skip would take it down, but I didn't want it.
Well, time out. I'm not going to take it down because I stand by what I tweeted.
Skip, let me finish.
All right, okay.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
Go ahead, let's go, Jen.
Okay.
I mean, I cannot even get through a monologue without you interrupting me. Well, you could have came back, Skip.
Well, I thought,
Skip, just let.
I didn't know you were going to bring up
No,
this.
I was just going to say, Skip, I didn't want to yesterday to get into a situation where Damar Hamlin was the issue. We should have been talking about him and not get into your tweet. That's what I was going to do. But you can't even let me finish my opening monologue without you interrupting.
Okay. I was under the impression you weren't going to bring this up because nobody here had a problem with that tweet.
No. Clearly, the bosses wanted you to offer explanations, so clearly somebody.
No, they did not have. Nobody.
Let's go, Jen.
That moment right there, because usually as you see me, as I'm prepping for the show, I don't get an opportunity to watch the competition too often, but I saw that, and the second I saw that, two thoughts came to my mind. Number one, and I told you this when I saw you a few months later. I said, Shannon, never, ever give up that seat. You should have been there the next day. You should have been there. I don't give a damn if you sat up there and said nothing. You can't. You don't give up that seat. That's exactly what I said to you. Remember that, right?
That's exactly what you did.
That's exactly what I did tell you. To never give up that seat. I sort of said to Kenny Smith when Kenny Smith walked off the TNT. Said, "That's my brother. I love him to death." But I said, no, don't give up that seat. That's number one. And number two, I also told you that is the day I knew it was over. You would be leaving. I said, there is no way the Skip Bayless that I know, the Shannon Sharpe that I came to know, the television business, the way that I know it, there is no way in hell they survived that together. It is over. Right. Shannon's going to be gone. Your thoughts that day?
You did. You told me a lot of things leading up to that point. I think the thing for me is that I saw Damar Hamlin and my brother. I remember watching my brother lay temporary paralyzed on the field, and I saw a lot of Damar Hamlin in that situation. For me, even though he opened the show the day that I wasn't there, saying his bosses wanted him to offer an explanation. And when I said the bosses had a problem with what you said, he simply said they did not, when he had clearly said to himself that the bosses had a problem with what he said and he needed to clarify it. I agree with you. Probably if I could go back and do one thing differently, there are a couple of things. That situation, I definitely would not have, I definitely should have reported. I'm sure they held that against me, but
report it to work.
Sure
report it to work.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. I should have gone in there and sat down and not, if I show up to work, I'm gonna work. It's not like I'm gonna sit there and hold in while I'm there. Right. No, I would have absolutely done my job, and that's probably one of the moments in my tenure that I'm least proud of, that I didn't show up, because on all the other jobs I've ever had, I've never not shown up for work. And for me not to show up for work, I should have. And I was wrong in that situation. And maybe that was the final straw. Maybe that was the coup de grace that they used to say, okay, we want to move on without Shannon Sharpe. Whatever the case may be, I was wrong in that instance for not showing up to work.
But that particular day, when you responded the way that you responded, when you were interrupted, was that your way of just saying, I'm done, I've had enough? It's over.
I was just like, okay, let me get through the monologue. If you have anything that you want to object to, you want to add, you can do it then. At least just let me get through the monologue. Because, Stephen A., like, if you remember a couple of months later, I had an incident at the Laker game with the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
Is that when I did what I did, I didn't have anything that was from my heart.
Yeah.
I don't put anything in prompter. That was me speaking.
Yeah.
And when I was talking
I told
about
you handled that right too. I told you handled that right. Absolutely. Because you can't put
the Damar Hamlin situation, Stephen A., that was from my heart. There was nothing written in prompter. My farewell speech, there was nothing written in prompter. So I just wanted him to let me get through. He could object to anything that I said that he liked or disliked or he wanted to add. That was fine, but just let me get through it. But at that point in time, I just think the thing is, he was like, I don't really want to hear anything else he has to say. I just want to move on. And that was fine. But if you notice, to go back to that Tom Brady, and this is what a lot of people was most proud of, that if you didn't see that moment, you would have never known that moment happened in the show. Because I went on and carried on like nothing's happened. And that happened very early in the show, Stephen A. Yeah. I went on and did my job the last 2.5 minutes, the last 2 hours and 15 minutes of that show. If you did not watch that actual segment, you would have never known Skip and I had an issue. That's how well I compartmentalized what had transpired. And I think athletes do a great job of compartmentalizing, because a lot of times, being an ex-professional athlete, Stephen A., we deal with things that people at home and people in the arena or in the stadium have no idea what they're going through. But we're able to compartmentalize that and play to a high level. And so that's what, for that moment, I went back, I'm an athlete. Compartmentalize this, Shannon. Do what you need to do, because you're still Shannon Sharpe. You're still Libby Sharpe, Sterling Sharpe's little brother. You're still the father of Kayla, Kaylee, and Kiari. Hey, you can do this. And so that's what I did. Hey, smile, came out the next segment like nothing had happened. I'm inside, I'm an inferno.
Right.
But I understand that I have a job to do. And when I show up to work, the one thing, you go ask Mike Shanahan, Coach Reeves, rest his soul, is gone away, Brian Billick. When I showed up, I gave him an honest day's work. And so, you know what? Even though that happened early in the show, I say I still owe Fox an honest day's work.
When it was over.
So you heard that there for yourself, right? Stephen A. Smith is incredible. Excuse me. Let's get that out of the way. After a week of getting ethered on that Max Kellerman topic, Stephen A. Smith knows for a fact that he should not be talking about how Skip Bayless treated Shannon Sharpe. The only reason why he's even on ESPN is because Shannon Sharpe had the cachet that Stephen A. Smith is referring to that Max Kellerman lacked. Because believe you me, if Shannon Sharpe had no cachet, he wouldn't have had any way to deal with the so-called disrespect from Skip Bayless. That's really the point here. But let's stick to this. What is Shannon Sharpe so mad about when you're sitting down with Skip Bayless? How can Skip Bayless get me mad? If I'm sitting there every day across from Skip Bayless, he has nothing on me. Nothing on me. What can he tell you? What can he tell you? I'm still... What is anyone talking about? This guy's disrespecting you. What do you do when anyone disrespects you? And you're a competitor. Like, forget about being tough. Forget about confronting anyone physically. Forget that. These guys speak for a living. Shannon Sharpe has been talking-ish his whole life. I sound like a broken record. I grew up with Shannon Sharpe talking crazy to a bunch of grown dudes bigger than him on the football field. The fact that he let Skip Bayless talk trash to him is crazy. This is still mind-boggling to me. You let this man disrespect your career. That's on you, Shannon. Right? That's the number one thing. There's no way possible that this was something that you were that offended about. If anyone gets that offended about anything, especially these competitors, especially when you have the pull that you do to get you out of that situation, you're clearly powerful, Shannon. No way I wouldn't mop the floor with a Skip Bayless. Dog, you based your whole career around the likes of us. You are the ultimate cheerleader, Skip Bayless. What are you talking about? We can go further with this. You are beyond the pom-pom wearing, jiggling individual, Skip Bayless, right? He loves Michael Jordan to death, and he be gagging over him, right? I would be disrespecting him left and right if I was Shannon Sharpe. That's easy work. Easy. Number two, you signed up for this. I don't care what chance he gave you. You were in the gulag for whatever reason. You signed up to be with this gentleman, Skip Bayless, who was disrespecting people for the last 7 years on television. He was the same guy. He ain't changed. He called Chris Bosh Spice to his face. You saw what happened when Jalen Rose eated him. You saw what happened when Richard Sherman eated him. That's what you were scared was going to happen to you? You were going to get banned from your own show? You understand? Like, there's some cowardice with that, Shannon. Like, and it really isn't, because I'll get to that point in a second. He signed up for that. When you sign up with Stephen A. Smith, who just disrespected Lonzo Ball, he broke all types of damn laws, basically, just to disrespect Alonzo Ball. So I know where your doctor is and stuff like that. That's the guy you sitting across the table from now. He's spent another couple podcasts dumping on his former co-host, who was ethering him. A lot of people love Max Kellerman for bringing in the analytics to the morning shows. There were certain things he was wrong about that Stephen A. Smith could have debated with, but even in real time, you could see Stephen A. Smith was getting disrespectful with Max Kellerman. We were all saying that. And that's the guy that Shannon now sitting across from. So this is all a play. This is all a play. The other thing is that people would like to forget somehow Shannon Sharpe was sitting courtside at a Laker game. And got so beside himself for gagging over LeBron that he tried to get into a fight. He couldn't stop himself at 50 plus years old from fighting a bunch of kids. That's what they are. For the name of LeBron James, because you were gagging all over him, because what you do every morning. What Skip Bayless went crazy over Michael Jordan and Tom Brady, well, he goes crazy over to disrespect you. You used that same fervor and disrespected the Memphis Grizzlies because you're really disrespecting them. You sitting courtside in L.A. You're not supposed to be on the court bothering them. The same exact disease of standum that ruins, that has taken over Skip Bayless took over you. I don't care what the Grizzlies were talking about with you. You're at their stadium. You bought a ticket to watch them play, and you disrespected them. I don't care if you apologized. All I'm saying is that this is hypocritical. Because I personally don't give a, you know what? I don't care. I can't care. I'm just, you guys go viral doing the same thing we do. Everyone knows there's hot topics to talk about and they stick to it. And that's what the problem is. It's all this celebrity culture that celebrity worship culture that we're all involved in. And your worship for LeBron got you to disrespect the Memphis Grizzlies, John Morant, and his father, and the Lakers security. Like, what are we talking about, Shannon? You 50 plus years old getting into fights. You almost got into a fight. A physical one. And Skip Bayless saying something to you about your career, it got you, all it did was made your voice high pitched and slammed your glasses, and he told you to put your glasses back on? Because he was right. What are you doing getting that excited? And not doing nothing, not clapping back. But see, this is the real point. This is what happens with politics. This is a political play. And what I mean by that is politics is the sport of power. Shannon Sharpe knew an opportunity was ahead of him. He saw, oh, I could get Skip Bayless. I got the trump card up my sleeve. I'm going to play this game. I'm not going to stand to be disrespected. I see what's being said online. I could easily make this worse and feed into the Twitter babble and make it worse for FS1 and for Skip Bayless. I can feed into these things. I could talk to whatever reporter and leak information through there to make it worse for Skip Bayless and FS1. There really is tension between them. Shannon Sharpe doesn't want to be there anymore. Listen, man, he extorted them. He extorted FS1. I love that. Don't get me wrong, Shannon. That's the ultimate play. I'm proud of you. You saw an opportunity. And you open that door wide open. I love it. Because this will lead to Stephen A. Smith's downfall. I hope he knows it. He doesn't get it, but I hope he knows it. You have too many stars at ESPN. Not too many people really like Stephen A. Smith. They really don't. This thing is really going to come to a head. So I'm glad about this. For we got to get Stephen A. Smith up out of here. He has to learn a real lesson. A real lesson. He really looked down upon YouTubers and is doing the same thing we are. He has resorted to being one of us. Because he had his master's degree, and remember, he's a journalist. He's a real journalist, so that's why he's at that table, because he's a journalist, and Max Kellerman didn't deserve it, right? And when he jumped on YouTube, he was saying that you don't need any background to do this, and we're just a bunch of amateurs. He sounds real amateurish to me. He's been sounding amateurish, emotional. That's a shame, though, man. Shannon Sharpe, it was a great play. You played FS1, played Fox. You admitted to not showing up. That's great. It took some more money off their table for the free. And you played your hand well. So I definitely have to applaud him for that. But this is, come on, enough is enough, bro. You ain't no victim. You ain't no victim, bro. Skip Bayless, you knew what you signed up for with Skip Bayless. And you signed up for the same exact thing 2 days a week with Stephen A. Smith. And don't tell me you're not, because you just signed up to jump on his podcast. And he did this with his former teammate, his former coworker. And he's still talking about his former coworker in this manner after he's gone, behind his back, on camera for the world to see, right? No chance to defend himself, because he ain't there. Shannon really picks his words wisely against Skip Bayless. Stephen A. ain't doing the same. Friendly Fire, Fabian Perspectv, ALLBALL TV. You let me know in the comments if you want. Am I crazy? Is Shannon Sharpe crying wolf? He really played FS1. Extorted him. ALLBALL TV, Fabian Perspectv, Friendly Fire.